Hey guys, my name is Ryan, and welcome to Overwatch Central. Not only do we have a new hero in the game, but a good portion of the heroes in Overwatch, more than half of them, have been buffed or nerfed in some way. I figured I'd do a bit more of a winners and losers, but look less at indirect changes, because of Baptiste and bunker comps, and that means Widow can come back. I just kind of want to focus on the heroes that 100% get net buffed and nerfed. And then maybe talking a little bit about, okay, this hero could be a lot better in this scenario. But this is just a nice way to clear up all of the changes that have gone into the game, which heroes have got better, which heroes have got worse. Because we've effectively had 3 different patches here, it's a nice way to sort of round up all of the heroes that were changed, which are the more significant and non-significant nerfs that were added in. And also looking at the addition of Baptiste and what that can do to the game. So we'll start with him on the winners. I do think people are going to be playing an awful lot of him. The pros seem to like him. Whether he's going to be used in any specific composition remains to be seen. It's kind of like Ana. You can play him as much as you want in ranked and you'll be fine. But at the pro scene, you need those support ultimates that ZENYATTA and Lucio offer. But that might also change in the future. You see Ana being used a little bit by the pros in the highest tier, but you don't really see them as much as you would in ranked. So I would say in the general scope of the game, Baptiste is in a really good spot. Next up we go on to DOOMFIST. Of course he got some buffs reducing his cooldown on Rising, Uppercut and Seismic Slam. I do feel that whilst this isn't going to be a huge buff for DOOMFIST, this is going to put him in a better position. There of course is the impact that these changes have. It means that DOOMFIST can do more. It means that he can activate his passive to get shield, meaning that he's just constantly going to be a threat and involved. And when he was used in this sort of anti-goats meta with SOMBRA before he was, nerfed to the ground, he was quite popular and very oppressive. And I feel that these changes make him a little bit stronger, but ultimately they don't make him completely invincible or really good at just being able to kill targets straight away like he used to beforehand. Might not be the biggest change in the world for DOOMFIST, but it is definitely a buff for this character. McCree is another big winner. Whilst his fan hammer damage was reduced, his dead eye can now lock onto targets a lot faster, not to mention all of that damage gets doubled when going through an amplification matrix. You have to go over the impression that bunker comps might come back. McCree standing from distance with a high nude might be quite strong. It's, again, really difficult to say, oh yeah, McCree's going to be very much meta right now. His interactions with the amplification matrix and his own ultimate on its own are significantly better, but again, it's not as if we're going to go into a McCree meta at this point, at least I don't believe so. The same could be said for Mei, who again had a buff to her Endothermic Blaster, just the amount of damage that your primary fire does as you're freezing the target. Doesn't freeze them faster or anything like that, and she did get a bit of a nerf to her Ice Wall with the health that each of the pillars has. So Mei again is a hero that's been sort of flirted with anti-goats kind of compositions or in goats comp itself. So again, all of these heroes that we've just gone over are in a much better spot than they were prior. Don't worry, there are heroes in here that will have a significant impact on the meta and will become a lot stronger. One of which could be MOIRA, I think. Biotic Grasp, her passive heal, the heal over time that applies to a target that you've healed, is a little bit stronger, but considering that you have the nerfs to ZENYATTA that we'll talk about in a second, I do think that MOIRA is going to be the sort of main support in place of ZENYATTA for GOATs in the future. That's what the pros have been saying. MOIRA, for those that don't know, did start off predominantly in GOATs comp with Lucio and Brigitte. Then ZENYATTA was added in because his Discord was good at being able to kill targets quicker, and realistically, MOIRA's healing felt a bit unnecessary at times because she's really good at healing her team up, but when you have 3 other supports, having that big source of healing wasn't as necessary as, say, as ZENYATTA with Discord being able to output damage too. So I think MOIRA could come back if ZENYATTA does fall out of the meta, at least for GOATs comp. Now we go on to ORISA. She now moves faster when firing, which I think is a really big change. It goes without saying that if bunker comp comes back, standing on the high ground with a JUNKRAT, with an ASHE, Widowmaker, HANZO, Bastion, whatever, ORISA's going to be involved in that team. And not only is she going to be strong there, granted that ORISA did have a buff quite a few months back that did make her primary weapon a little bit stronger and a little bit more accurate. That would have made her good in that case, but these changes mean that she's a lot more flexible, can move forward, can be used on attack, meaning that she isn't just good at staying on a point, staying on the high ground and just firing from below. She has a little bit more movement, she can get around, you could use her in different situations that you couldn't before. I feel that this is one of the more subtle, high impact changes that are in these patch notes. But I do think that ORISA and that double sniper bunker comp is going to be popular. I really, really do. How popular is hard to say, but I think it's going to come back in a big way. PHARAH's on the winners list. She has been used in this anti-goats composition. We highlighted that in another video. This buff just makes her a little bit better. Not by much, it's not a massive change, but I think just the general state of the game means that PHARAH is quite strong. Granted that you do have buffs to McCree coming in, SOULJA and ASHE being in a good spot. Widowmaker, HANZO, it's very difficult to play PHARAH at this point, but I think if you're playing into tanky compositions, you know, in ranked, some people just don't run these heroes, you can take full advantage of that with PHARAH, and these changes certainly do help. SOULJA 76, just buffs all around. One of those heroes that SOULJA's been buffed several times, but still hasn't really gotten to a point where he's quite strong. One of the lowest picked heroes in the Overwatch League, which is quite unfortunate, but these changes should help him out a little bit more. His damage has just been increased. It could be a huge change to bring him back. I think the pros do want him back. It's one of those changes where, yeah, SOULJA is better, but I do have that sneaking suspicion that it could be a lot better than we're giving it credit for. Even though SOMBRA and Widowmaker and HANZO are in the patch notes, I'll go over them in a second, but Wrecking Ball is changed to his adaptive shields. Again, a hero that's going up in popularity already. This is just going to put more wind in his sails, and I really like this change. It's a huge quality of life thing for Wrecking Ball, making him even more annoying. JUNKRAT, of course, his main primary source of damage, his grenade launcher, had its damage increased, so it really doesn't need more saying. I did see PvP say that it wasn't a change that JUNKRAT may have wanted, because it's hard to hit shots with his grenade, but he gets his ultimate a lot faster. The pros seem to really like it, and in that composition that he was really good on before, the high ground, defending horizon point A as an example, that's exactly where he thrives. Not great all of the time, but certainly a lot stronger, and we all know how difficult it can be to play against a good JUNKRAT going off the meta over a year ago at this point. And SYMMETRA's photon projector damage has ramped up 20% faster. Did want to put this towards the end, because I don't really know how I feel about these changes. I think SYMMETRA does deserve to be on the winners list at this point. Her popularity has gone up in the pro scene. She has a lot of uses in places where I didn't really give her enough credit, so for this one I will certainly put SYMMETRA on the winners list. It takes a lot of resources to get her to work, but that's not me saying that there isn't any amazing SYMMETRA players out there, because there definitely is. So they're all of the definite net buff changes. We'll quickly go over the indirect buffs. I don't want this video to be massively long. I'd say that all of this does benefit ASHE. She is a hero that I think will relish in this kind of meta where a lot of stuff is going on at once. You will have Goats comp, you will have this bunker comp, even dive in some cases. ASHE would be good alongside each of them, and she's quite strong against each of them too. She's not a standout hero, but I feel that the place that she's in the game already is quite good for the hero, and because of that I feel like it's just going to get better. Bastion, need I say more? Bunker comps, Baptiste on high ground, everybody else there. The synergy that he has with Baptiste is really good. I can definitely see Bastion being used a lot more, even more than just sort of like a meme pirate ship kind of mode. HANZO Widowmaker, this double sniper meta we've had for a bit. All of the signs are pointing that this may come back in some way. We've seen it a little bit, and I'm honestly quite excited to see it come back to an extent at least. With everything that we've said about ORISA, Baptiste, JUNKRAT, all of that kind of slow anti-dive, anti-goats, bunker comps, Bastion, Widowmaker would work, and of course Mercy is added onto that list to supplement all of the heroes that I've just mentioned. And finally, probably the biggest indirect winner in all of this I wanted to highlight is SOMBRA. She's good against goats, she will be good against bunker comps with a really well placed EMP. She's in the strongest position that she's ever been in, and a good SOMBRA can really tear apart the enemy team. I've been raving about this all week it feels, so I won't go into more detail as we now go over the nerfs. Lucio's speed boost was nerfed. The devs said that his ability to increase his teammate speed was too strong, so they decreased the power of it. This was one of the areas that made Goats comp really strong, because Lucio really allowed slow moving targets to move a lot faster and kept it all moving with a tight ship. Lucio is still good, he's not going to be, you know, not used at all at any point, but it certainly makes him weaker with those kind of death ball-y compositions. Again, not by a huge amount, but he's definitely on this list, as is a good amount of these Guts heroes too. Reaper did get nerfed, it was a slight nerf, but I feel his job to try and be anti-tank isn't really working. He's had some pretty big buffs, and he's still quite strong in the right hands, but he hasn't really found his place in any form of meta, I feel. He's been nerfed quite significantly, and players are still kind of like, yeah, nah, not a fan, not really playing him too much. So whilst this is a small nerf, I think it's just the grand scale of the game, and if this kind of on the high ground ORISA kind of strategy does come back, I don't think Reaper's going to have much to do there. Zarya's particle cannon was nerfed, damage from beams to armor was nerfed. Zarya is a little bit weaker. And I do think that if GOATS becomes weak to the point that it's counterable by different strategies, Zarya will be one of the first to go, I do think. I don't really see any 2-2-2 kind of composition coming with Zarya Reinhardt anytime soon. I really do feel that because she has to go up against Steven now instead of alongside, that's where she's just going to be dropped completely, back to her really low pick rate that she had before GOATS come. But finally Zen, whilst he does more damage, his discord does a little bit less. Much like we've gone over in this video, just weakens GOATS. Means that other supports might be used in place of Zen, and Baptiste is in straight contention with him, so popularity wise I think players are going to swarm to Ana and Baptiste more than Zenyatta at this point. Still a good hero, still somebody that you could just one trick all the way to GM and beyond if you wanted to, but he's a loser on this list because he has been nerfed. Quickly to go over 3 heroes that I think have suffered because of all of this. Brigitte goes without saying. I don't think she's going to be used in any other composition than GOATS. So if GOATS goes away, Brigitte is going to. ROADHOG, just because he got no positive changes at all. It's hard to really buff ROADHOG, I get that, and maybe he didn't really need buffing, but he's a hero that has been left out in the cold. And with, you know, 2/3 of the heroes in the game being changed, it's kind of sad that ROADHOG wasn't one of them. And finally, Reinhardt, when you have these compositions with a Bastion on the high ground, protected by an ORISA, snipers, Mercy on the high ground, Reinhardt isn't going to be useful there at all, I don't think. He's going to suffer a lot, much like he did beforehand. Overall, I do think the GOATS comp is still going to be around, just in the map so it works. You know, King's Row, Rialto, any closed-in point of a control map, that's where this composition is going to thrive, of course. But when maps open up to Dorado, Gibraltar as obvious examples, that's where you're going to start to see Dive coming back, bunker comps. I really do feel that we're going to start to see GOATS eventually die out. I think that this is the time. Maybe hold on to your crab raves a little bit longer because we have been wrong about that in the past. But I did want to just highlight all of the changes, all of the heroes that have been positively and negatively impacted and what they do. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit longer than we usually do, but I hope you had fun. Take care and I'll see you next time.